Hey guys, I just wanted to do my reaction video to Arrow Season 7, Episode 3, Crossing Lines. So, I. So basically, the last episode we had Oliver being strong armed by Brick, Derek Sampson, and Bronze Tiger, and to get rid of the guard York. They wanted him to kill. They wanted Oliver to kill him in exchange for getting information about who getting to Diaz and how he had people on the inside try to kill him, and he was able to basically get rid of the guard in a non-lethal way, but basically pretending to making it look like York shanked him when Oliver just basically shanked himself, and getting rid of him that way. Felicity became hell-bent on tracking down Diaz after the attack on the safe house, causing some friction with Diggle because she was able to rally Renee and Curtis into working with her to track down Diaz, and Diggle was trying to follow his superior's orders with stopping Diaz from acquiring components for, I guess, like a weapon that he was creating over his actual capture, which is ultimately what happened, especially since when they were on the train trying to catch Diaz and stop him from getting his hands on a component that would help him create his weapon. He also had the longbow hunters backing him up, and Diggle was forced to let Diaz and the longbow hunters escape in exchange for getting the component away from Diaz. And Felicity got fed up to the point where she decided that, she can no longer count on Argus to help capture Diaz, and so she went to Agent Watson and telling her, Oliver made a deal with you to turn himself in to catch Diaz, and, it's time for you to fulfill your end of the bargain, and that's why she's offering her services to Agent Watson and the FBI.
What if they hacked into the CDC secure network, specifically their security protocols? They're planning something.
You deduced that from this photograph and one unsubstantiated hack.
It's the only lead we got in months, and you know it. We can't let that slip away.
Then bring me something concrete I can act on. CDC security system is airtight. No one gets in without a level 5 security clearance. I can't waste valuable resources on something this circumstantial.
You mean someone who dropped to number 27 on our most wanted list?
That too. Tell the CDC they've been hacked. They can handle it as they see fit. I need your focus elsewhere, Agent.
Wow, she's actually trying to do the right thing and going against authority.
I guess her heart isn't completely made of stone.
Want to.
Plugging the FBI?
The room.
I'm on it. But once I catch up to her, it'll be radio silence. Literally.
What my darts could do with all this stuff.
And put your hands in the air. Slowly.
Can you please handle this?
He seems pretty relaxed in this situation.
Silencer's still here, in the mechanical room.
I'll take Diaz. You help Diamond.
Renee should get out of here in a hurry. Could you blame him? I mean, the FBI and him don't exactly have a love-love relationship. How bad is it?
What do you think? I mean, the silencer was right there.
Oh, nice!
The best part, you'll never get to the demon. Because you're on the wrong level. The demon is on level 2, place for the worst of the worst. And that just isn't you now. Isn't that right, Arrow?
in this place.
That's what Stephen Amell said before the season started.
I'm not a super fan of Agent Watson, but we got her in trouble.
We didn't make her do anything. We've been sitting and waiting for the law to catch Diaz for months. I'm tired of waiting.
I get that, but
Isn't this kind of what we've been doing the whole time? Stepping in when the system fails? Isn't that sort of vigilante MO? Sometimes you have to cross the line for that.
listen, nobody believes in that more than me. I'm just not sure that's what this is.
Felicity, you sneaky girl.
All I felt is pain. Pain of betrayal. Pain of having every bone in my body shattered.
So how are you able
The
to?
water.
So how are you still here?
And I didn't panic. I was patient. And that patience helped me to find a way to transform that pain.
So you say patience, I call it plot armor.
Strength.
So wow, the writers can't stop coming up with contrived ways of why Diaz is still around. Saying is giving that whole speech about how it's like, oh, he broke every bone in his body when he was knocked off the roof, which realistically happened to a person, makes you wonder, how do you survive? How do you not drown? If all your bones were broken, you couldn't like swim to shore or like swim anywhere, like how did you survive? And now you're telling me he's like injecting himself with these drugs that give him super strength, but it's like if you were like doing this before, like back in season 6, I would have bought. That would have been understandable, and I kind of would have made you a more viable threat, and at least in comparison to, you know, guys with superpowers or guys who big bads have been trained by League of Assassins training. But you know, I mean, I feel like, you know, the fact that you bought out the entire law apparatus of Star City was the only thing that was making you untouchable. Once you lost all that, it's just like you still had the longbow hunters. So it's like, if you didn't have the longbow hunters or buy out the city, it's like you still kind of would have been just a thug. And I can understand why the people who don't like this character care much for this character that much, and why they keep coming up with contrived, and why they kind of see him as the ultimate like Gary Stu in this. You know, maybe he had like super strength, some kind of super healing like back then. Then like maybe I could have bought that you would have been just as elusive or menacing as say like past villains. But it's like it's like you're bringing in this plot point like now, like so, like what the hell, writers? You know, granted, you can see that I didn't include any kind of footage in my ed from. I basically had to cut out like all the stuff with Diggle and Lila because, granted, you know the stuff with Diggle, but basically the original Team Arrow, Diggle, Felicity, Oliver was all about them. You know, this going on with this trope, this theme of whether to be law abiding or to be good. Oliver, he went into prison with unrealistic expectations, thinking he could still stand by his convictions and morals, knowing that there are no like rules. There are very like little rules in prison, or nobody lives by kind of like honor or standards. It's kind of like survival of the fittest in there, which is so like it's like Stanley had to point out, like it's hard. He can't truly be a hero when he's in there, given that there's a whole different set of rules in prison, which is very I guess really very little at all. Felicity, being ruthless and manipulative enough to the fact that she convinced she and Renee hid the fact they actually captured Silencer and had a lead on Diaz, just for the sake of, you know, getting Watson, basically just getting Watson in trouble and having her reassigned out of Star City, because, you know, like Donna pointed out, you know, with her like in Star City and breathing down their necks, that they couldn't, you know, do any kind. It would have made it even harder for them to do any kind of vigilanteism, and made it which is why they were all the more reason why they were forced to abide by the whole anti-vigilante law that was enforced in Star City. You know, which is why Felicity, who had to be manipulative and ruthless enough to kind of take Agent Watson out of the equation in a manner similar to, which isn't like how Oliver had to take York out of the equation in the last episode, but it kind of, but only benefited Brick and company more than anything to, you know, kind of to rule Slapstyle like his own personal kingdom. And Felicity just did it as a necessary evil, so they'll be able to, you know, operate like they used to and try to catch Diaz, because no one in law enforcement has been able to, you know, catch him. You know, Star City PD, Argus, the FBI, they all failed in doing so. So, and Felicity refuses to be a victim after Diaz's attack, and, you know, after having her husband just turn himself in an attempt to stop Diaz, and he doesn't want his sacrifice to be all for nothing. So, and, you know, the whole thing with Diggle and Lila, and the latter trying to go outside of the rules and regulation to bust a money laundering scheme, it's like, it was interesting for the characters, but it did nothing for the plot. So I can kind of take it or leave it. I guess it was just something to give those characters something to do. But anyway, still a solid episode. What do you guys think of the episode? What are your predictions for next week's episode? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.